the greatest insurance fraud of over $200 million. Today, we're talking about the story of Martin Frankel, the man behind the greatest insurance fraud ever. His early years. Martin Frankel was an eccentric financier who managed to pull off one of the strangest Ponzi schemes in recent history. He wasn't the most intelligent fraudster, but he was a master of persuasion. Frankel's story begins in 1986, when he leaves college and lands a job at a small brokerage firm. He quickly develops a reputation for being a know-it-all, and he's eventually fired for incompetence. After being fired, Frankel set up his investment firm, the Frankel Fund. He operates the firm from his bedroom in his parents' house, but he manages to convince a large Chicago firm to act as their Toledo representative. But Frankel's success was short-lived. His clients suspect he's scamming them, and they filed complaints with the police. Frankel is banned from securities by the SEC, but he doesn't give up. Thuner Trust. Frankel's next scheme is to acquire struggling insurance companies. He knows that insurance companies keep large reserves on hand, and he plans to use those reserves at his leisure. Frankel enlists the help of businessman John Hackney to pull off his scheme. They created a new company called Thuner Trust, and they begin acquiring struggling insurance companies. Once Frankel has control of an insurance company, he starts siphoning off money from the reserves. He uses the money to fund his lavish lifestyle, to invest in other businesses, and to bribe regulators. St. Francis of Assisi Foundation. Frankel's scheme is working well, but he's not content to make just a few $1,000,000. He wants to make billions. To do that, Frankel decided to create a charity endorsed by the Catholic Church. He knows that the Catholic Church is a trusted institution, and he believes that he can use the charity to launder money from his insurance companies. Frankel convinces several prominent Catholic figures that he's a wealthy Jewish businessman who wants to invest millions of dollars in the church. He also creates a fake identity for himself, using the name David Rossi. With the help of his new friends, Frankel is able to form the St. Francis of Assisi Foundation. The foundation allows Frankel to easily launder money from his insurance companies without too many questions. Downfall. Frankel's scheme continues for several years, but his greed eventually gets the best of him. He starts stealing more and more money from his insurance companies, and he begins to invest in riskier and riskier ventures. In 1997, the Mississippi Insurance Commissioner begins asking questions about where one of Frankel's companies is wiring money. The commissioner also begins to investigate the St. Francis of Assisi Foundation. Frankel panics when he realizes that his scheme is about to be exposed. He frantically shreds documents at his home and flees to Europe on a private plane. Investigators eventually catch up with Frankel in Germany. He's convicted of falsifying passports and other documents, along with smuggling millions of dollars worth of diamonds into the country. He's sentenced to 3 years in a German prison and fined $1.6 million. In 2002, Frankel returned to the U.S. to face charges related to his insurance scam. He's convicted and sentenced to 150 years in prison. Public damage. Martin Frankel's insurance scam was one of the largest and most complex Ponzi schemes in history. He was able to steal over $200 million from investors, including insurance companies, individuals, and charities. Frankel's scam had a devastating impact on his victims. Many people lost their savings and their livelihoods. Some people even lost their homes. The public was outraged by Frankel's scam. People were shocked that he was able to get away with it for so long. They were also angry at the insurance commissioners who failed to properly investigate Frankel's activities. The Frankel scandal led to a number of reforms in the insurance industry. New regulations were put in place to make it more difficult for fraudsters to operate. Insurance commissioners were also given more resources to investigate suspicious activity. Emotional impact. Frankel's scam had a devastating emotional impact on his victims. Many people felt betrayed and humiliated. They couldn't believe that someone they trusted would steal from them. Frankel's victims also experienced a great deal of financial hardship. Many people lost their savings and were forced to retire early. Some people even had to declare bankruptcy. The Frankel scandal also had a negative impact on the public's trust in the financial system. People were worried about investing their money in insurance companies and other financial institutions. Martin Frankel's story is a cautionary tale about the dangers of greed and corruption. It also shows how easy it can be for fraudsters to operate if regulators are not doing their jobs. Frankel's scam went on for over a decade because insurance commissioners were negligent in their duties. They overlooked suspicious transactions and failed to investigate Frankel's activities properly. It's important to remember that fraudsters like Martin Frankel are out there and always looking for new ways to scam people. We need to be vigilant and report any suspicious activity to the authorities. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you next time.